Falaflahia tu hane e tau valatala tu tupu he lau taong niwi ke lata moe hane. Ko whai o nonuanga tua e whakatufonu ke tausia i whaka-private e tau whahi malolo sino he motu ne whakailoi he matupali mea ko toke tālangi a mana ki anganei ke whonoanga he tau lilifu whono ke pule ke tau whakatutalanga ke tau pepatup he whahi malolo sino. Ko whai mga au he kumikumi ki ai he whakatufonu maka whitani he whai whakatutalanga moe whalu tau matakau ne kua whai mahamanga ke tau whakaranga pehe nei. Ahai tau manatu whakauaua he whalu he tau lilifu he whono ha kua longa ne tala nei kai pehe pale mea koe whakaruanga he whakatufonu ke hiki whala tau whakaruanga hua moe tau whahinga hua he whakatufonu wa lali ke anon ke whalu puhala foki ke whakamaloloa ke tau whahi malolo sino he motu. Kua whakausia e tau whakakuanga ke lata e mō le tōlu e tau counsellors ke langmatai atu ke tau whahi reproductive health ne whakatakataka he whahi malolo sino e whakaruanga nei whakatahama Empower Pacific ke lali ke mariki skilunga tau langmatai yanga mai tau tangata he motu ke tau malolo sino le tōlu mua atu ke he tau ngangau utawhano. Ke mga nei toko hong fumalima lo tūru ni ko moe tau whakamilanga ke mai ke uatuai ke ngahua moe tau tangata tala hau he tahe tau tangata ko hoko atu ke tau whakakuanga. Ko mahuinga ke iloi tau puhala ke whakatutala moe whanonongo ke mai ke langmatai tau tangata koe ononuanga tau liu whai whanonga whakalulahi atu whoke lo tūru mahini mua kai manako ke uatu e tau tangata ke whakaonga e tau langmatai nei. Falaflahia to you listening into Radio Sunshine's news bulletin for today. Government is considering the possibility of privatizing health services on the island. Premier Tokatalangi made the statement while addressing the members of the Assembly during discussions into the Health Department budget. He said that government had considered the option of privatization for a while and has held preliminary discussions with various persons or countries to gauge potential interest and requirements. This was met with some hesitation as some members of the Assembly were surprised to hear of this. However, Premier Talangi says that the transformation program that the government has embarked on considers all options to help improve health services on the island. 15 participants from education, health and civil society sectors are now accredited counsellors after being part of an intensive training for reproductive health practitioners for the past 2 weeks. The Health Department training, facilitated by Empower Pacific, is part of a regional project. Niue has had a shortage of counselling services with only 2 certified counsellors on the island. These new accredited counsellors will be an additional boost to the number of counsellors on the island, and although the focus has been on sexual reproductive health issues and counselling needs, the skills acquired can be used for general counselling. Participants said that the training has been very beneficial and valuable because it increases the number of counsellors that can assist people and gives them extra skills, especially in areas of professionalism and confidentiality. The challenge now will be to get people to access these services now available and to have accredited locations to deal with clients. Moving on to our news stories from the region. Fiji's National Federation Party has objected against the nominations of former Acting Permanent Secretary for Justice Merisaini Vuniwaga and Elections Minister Ayesayed Kayam, who are contesting the forthcoming 2014 elections for the Fiji First Party. NFP General Secretary Kamal Ayers said under Section 57 of the 2013 Constitution, Vuniwaga is barred from standing for election for a period of 4 years, given her former role, where she was also responsible for elections and performed the functions of the supervisor of elections. Meanwhile, the Electoral Commission is now wrapping up its work on the verification of objections made by the various political parties. The Commission is now expected to make a public announcement on its decision. A team of Fiji police officers will investigate the death of a 30-year-old robbery suspect who died while in police custody. Police Commissioner Ben Groenwald confirmed that Director of Internal Affairs, a senior officer and 4 subordinates travelled to the Western Division. Grunwald reassured the family of the deceased and members of the public of a thorough investigation. However, he could not reveal the time frame needed to complete investigations. The deceased was later transferred to the Lautoka Hospital, where he died hours after an operation. Meanwhile, the family of a robbery suspect who died in hospital after his arrest is demanding answers from the Fiji police force, which has found itself at the centre of brutality allegations. Vilikesa Ratusoko, manager of the Sayoni Rugby Club, was among suspects taken in by police last weekend in connection with the 50,000 daylight robbery at the City Forex Nandi branch. French Polynesia's President Gaston Floss has been charged with the misuse of power in the way he awarded a $55 million contract a decade ago to build Tahiti's new hospital. This comes after another day of interrogations in a long-running probe. Floss is alleged to have given the contract to build the Taone hospital without calling tenders to a company whose owner then sold a stake in a hotel to Floss's son at a low price. The two were charged over the arrangement in February. Before meeting the investigators, Floss's lawyers already asked for corruption charges to be dropped should they be laid. Last month, Floss was stripped of his political offices in a French Supreme Court ruling for corruption, but he remains in office because the French government has refused to serve him the verdict to make it official. Floss has asked Francois Hollande for a presidential pardon so that he can stay in power. The United Nations is hoping the Small Island Developing States Conference, which gets underway in Samoa next week, will lead the way for international action on climate change. Heads of state and ministers from around the world are attending the once-in-a-decade conference, which runs from the 1st to the 4th of September, with pre-conference activities from 28th to 31st of August. The event is significant for the Pacific, but also has the potential to give a significant boost to UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon's push for more action on climate change. The meeting is the last high-level United Nations event before Ban's September Climate Summit and will be an important input into General Assembly discussions in New York. The conference will bring to Apia some 3,000 delegates from 193 member states, as well as NGOs, the private sector, intergovernmental organizations, academic institutions, the media, and many others. The third UN Conference on Small Island Developing States is an opportunity for the Pacific Islands and their vulnerable counterparts from other regions of the world to put their case for action to address their needs on everything from jobs to climate change. The author of a report on gun violence in Papua New Guinea says none of his recommendations have been acted on 9 years after he handed his findings to the then Prime Minister Sir Michael Somare. Former PNG Defence Force Commander General Jerry Singirok says law and order problems are holding back the country's economic development. General Singirok says many members of PNG's police force also earn a living as private security guards. He said that himself as a business owner says that tense security environment affects every aspect of business considerations. Niuean Pacific Line has announced that it will buy Polynesian Shipping Line. In announcing the sale of the business, the chairman of Polynesian Shipping Line, Charlie Westerland, stated the time is now right for Polynesian Shipping Line shareholders to withdraw from shipping and that they're pleased to be able to sell the business to a professional, like-minded and well-managed company in Niuean Pacific Line. Niuean Managing Director Rolf Rasmussen added, "This purchase supports our long-term vision of creating the strongest and best regional network of shipping services in the Pacific Islands, and we appreciate that Charlie and shareholders in PSL have found faith in Niuean to carry on their legacy." Auckland-based Polynesian Shipping Line services Fiji, Samoa, American Samoa and Tonga, and also services inter-island trade between these destinations. Fiji Television's holding company has recorded a profit before tax of $2.7 million. This is a 5% decrease compared to the same period last year. The group's consolidated profit before tax also recorded at $1.2 million, down 80% from last year. Despite that, the holding company's overall revenue for the financial year ending on the 30th of June recorded a 14% increase to close at $25.7 million. The group's total revenue also sitting at $37.2 million. Fiji TV chairman Padam Lala says the results for the group was adequate given the challenges and economic conditions faced in its different areas of operations in the Pacific, including the depreciation of the kina in PNG. A major conference has been underway in New Caledonia on efforts to introduce reforms to revive the economy and reduce inequality. The meeting is attended by most political parties as well as employers and unions, but is being boycotted by the pro-independence Caledonian Union. The President, Cynthia Lagarde, says the territory has a budget problem at a time of slowing economy resulting in tangible unease. The economy grew at 3.4% for the decade until 2011, but has lost momentum. While 17% of households are now in poverty, prices are about a third higher than in mainland France. An employer's representative says after years of indecision, there is no choice but to make changes. Papua New Guinea Prime Minister Peter O'Neill defended his government's track record in delivering services into the districts, saying funds were finally getting into rural communities after 40 years. Speaking at the commissioning of an upgraded Kogere Health Centre in Port Moresby, the Prime Minister told dignitaries from the private sector, government agencies and NGOs that the new facility is an example of a public-private partnership initiative. He said there's a lot of work to do yet, including issues facing PNG, but assured that PNG's economy is predicted to do better next year with its GDP expected to rise higher than many other countries. And those are our regional and local news stories here on Radio Sunshine for today.